Atlanta. Christ, this Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Hunter.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing into it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakathon. Yahweh Shemalathon Bashim Yahushua. This is ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We teach the truth according to the Bible. The truth being the so-called Black, Hispanic, and North American Indian are the chosen people of God and are oppressed as the devil that the Bible speaks of. You're tuned in with Priest and Officer Howard Moore, ISUPK, Kentucky. And tonight is our Monday night history class. Now, before we get on into it, I want to invite every so-called Black, Hispanic, and North American Indian to tune into our content, weekly content. Monday night, of course, you got the history class. Tuesday night, brotherhood class taught by Officer of 1000. I'm a Wonga boy. And Wednesday night, the podcast, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Cry Out, Spare Not podcast, hosted by Officers of 1000. I'm a Wonga boy and ISUPK. And come here, these two powerful priests of the Lord, under Commander General Yohana, give the biblical breakdown and the biblical solution to all of the viral videos going across the internet. So that's our weekly content, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And like I said, Monday night history class, what we finna get off into is the culture that made America. All right, the culture that made America. Now you might have heard that Donald Trump is getting rid of some things. All right, getting rid of some history that our oppressor wants us to forget about. All right, but you got a brother in the UPK, man, under Commander General Yohana, right here in Louisville, Kentucky, that's here to give you some of that history back. All right, the history that's been hidden, the history that's been forgot about. All right, you got a brother here in Kentucky, man, that's finna give you some of this history back. So Monday night history class, the culture that made America. Last week we talked about the wars that made America. We talked about Black, Hispanic, and North American Indian involvement in every conflict from the beginning. All right, from the Revolution to the War of 1812 to the Civil War to the Spanish-American War to World War I, World War II, Vietnam. All right. Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians, the chosen people of God, we took part in every single war that made America. And with all of our contributions to the wars that made America, we still continue to go through hell today. So tonight, Monday night history class, ISUPK, Kentucky, under Commander General Yohana, the culture that made America. All right, we are the culture that made America, and we finna prove it tonight. And as usual, I got slides for y'all. Let's walk. All right, all the discussions amongst Americans come entirely from their ignorance of the existence of a tribe of Indians who call themselves America. All right. Board of Regents of the Smithsonian Institute. All right. The name America itself does not come from an Italian explorer named Amerigo Vespucci. A matter of fact, his name wasn't even Amerigo. His name was Albert. His given name was Albert Vespucci. All right. According to the Board of Regents of the Smithsonian, the name America comes from a group of Indians that call themselves America. So even the name America itself comes from an indigenous origin. Let's walk. All right. The Iroquois Indians, or forgotten founders, significantly influenced the joining together of the 13 colonies in 1776, the writing of the Articles of Confederation, and the construction of a federal system of government, 1787. All right. This is the culture that made America, and it comes directly from Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians. It says the Iroquois Indians influenced the joining together of the 13 colonies, the writing of the Articles of Confederation, and the construction of a federal system of government, 1787. Let's walk. All right. Music. We're going to talk about all the aspects of culture today, and we're going to prove that Black, Hispanic, and North American Indian culture is the culture of America. All right. Now we're going to go over the top four music genres in the world today. All right, the top four music genres in the world today. All right, American country music. American country music ranks number 4 of all music genres in the world. It says country music continues to thrive, particularly in the southern United States, where traditional themes meet modern influences. All right, country music is the number 4 music genre in the whole world. American country music is the number 4 genre of music in the whole world. All right, country music has long been considered a genre made by and for white people. However, this conception is empirically false. Its roots were heavily influenced by Black music and shaped by Black traditions. All right, Leslie Riddle. All right, Leslie Riddle, musical influence shaped country music. All right, here's an image of Leslie Riddle. He was the one that taught the Carter family how to play guitar. He was one that taught the Carter family how to play guitar. All right, Leslie Riddle is the reason why we have country music. All right, Leslie Riddle is the reason why we have country music. And his influence can be heard throughout the mountains of Appalachia to the Cowboy Carter Beyonce album. Source, Leslie Riddle, founder of country music. You would not have country music without a black man named Leslie Riddle. All right, here's our sister Beyonce. All right, Beyonce takes home first country music award at the Billboard Music Awards. Country music singer John Rich slams Beyonce for Grammy win and blasts the show for trying to become more diverse. All right. Again, we've been hearing about Donald Trump getting rid of DEI, getting rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion. But country music was founded by a black man named Leslie Riddle. All right, so the DEI in country music is white people. All right, this John Rich, whoever he is, that's knocking Beyonce. All right, he's the DEI. He's the DEI hire. White people are the DEI hire. So if we're going to get rid of DEI, if we're going to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, let's get rid of white people from country music. All right, if we're going to get rid of DEI, let's get rid of white people in country music. All right, the station manager, Roger Harris, emailed Mr. McGowan back with a concise rejection. We do not play Beyonce at KYKC as we are a country music station. All right, country music has its roots in black and indigenous music traditions that were already established in North America. This is according to the Library of Congress. Country music has its roots in black and indigenous music traditions that were already established in North America. Let's walk. All right, history of the two-step. All right, a dance often called the Texas two-step, called two-stepping to the local black community. It's as intrinsic to the city as jazz, a slow-cooked brisket. All right, this two-step, this Texas two-step is a black dance. Let's move. All right, rock and roll. We just covered country music. American country music is the number 4 genre of music in the world. Number 3 is rock and roll. American rock and roll. So 2 of the top 4 top music genres in the world are American genres of music. All right, black origins of rock and roll. The genre of rock and roll is derived from the musical traditions of blues, soul, R&B, and jazz, and other inherently black styles. All right, rock and roll music has its origin in black and indigenous culture. All right, rock and roll music has its origins in black and indigenous culture, all the way back to Elvis Presley, who copied black and indigenous culture, all the way back to copying people like Chuck Berry. All right, rock and roll music has its origin in black and indigenous culture. All right, number two is American pop music. All right, the number 2 top genre of music in the world is American pop music. And we can't talk pop music without talking the king of pop, Michael Jackson. So we got a picture of young Mike with his father Joe. But did y'all know the Jacksons were Choctaw Indians? All right, here's Joe Jackson's paternal great-grandfather. All right, July Jack, Choctaw Indian, 1801 to 1880. All right, who knew that the Jackson family were Choctaw Indians on their paternal side? Again, you can't talk pop music without talking the king of pop. And not just pop music. Let's sidebar into pop culture. Let's sidebar into popular culture. In this Wakanda, in these Black Panther movies. All right, Wakanda is not in Africa. Wakanda is right here. All right, Wakanda is not in Africa. Wakanda is right here. Here's more proof. All right, Wakanda is not in West Africa. Wakanda is in Kansas. All right, sidebar for a second. Let's get back to this music, though. As if it was any doubt, the number one music genre in the whole world is hip-hop and rap culture. Again, topic of tonight's class is the culture that made America. We started off with the fact that the name America itself is an indigenous word. We talked about the Iroquois Indians and how they influenced the joining together of the 13 colonies and the creation of the federal system that became the United States. We went into the top 4 musical genres in the whole world. The top 4 musical genres in the world are all American music. Number 4, country music that was started by Black and indigenous people. Number 3, rock and roll, which again is Black and indigenous culture. Pop music, and the number 1 genre in the world is hip hop, rap music, and culture. Which we don't even have to dig into this, and everybody already knows that rap music is Black culture. All right, this is part of the culture. This is part of the culture that made America. Let's walk. But all of it comes from the blues. All right, Mississippi Delta blues is considered the origin of American music because it influenced all other genres, including rock and roll, R&B, gospel, country, and rap. All of it goes back to Mississippi Delta blues. All right, and in that same area where the blues began, you had a man named Charlie Patton of Choctaw Indian descent, credited by all as the father of Delta blues music. All right, so all of this music, the most popular genres of music in the world, all of it go back to Charlie Patton, who is of Choctaw origin. All right, of Choctaw descent. All right, Mississippi is considered the birthplace of American music. All right, Mississippi is considered the birthplace of American music. And again, it is the most popular music in the world today. All right, Native Americans were not credited for helping form blues, jazz, and rock. All right, the possibility that the musical traditions of indigenous people might be central to American harmony has never been articulated, much less considered at length. This is pretty remarkable, not only because so many of the musicians have pronounced Native American roots. We just read about the father of blues music was a Choctaw Indian. All right, consider the description of Muddy Waters, born McKinley Morganfield, on the occasion of Waters' first recording session in a shack in Stovall in 1940 for the song collector Alan Lomax. Muddy was a vigorous 26-year-old, Palmer writes, with high cheekbones and a cool hooded eyes, features that lent him a certain oriental inscrutability. All right, and we know the Muddy Waters kinfolk come out of Pontotoc, Mississippi, and Pontotoc, Mississippi was the capital of the Chickasaw Nation. Let's walk. All right, here's Muddy Waters, born McKinley Morganfield. All right, another heavy influence of blues that is also known to be Choctaw Indian is Chester Burnett, Howlin' Wolf. Another Choctaw Indian. All right, Chester Burnett, Howlin' Wolf. And again, this is the music that influenced all other genres of American music, along with the top 4 musical genres in the world. All right, music is the lifeblood of the Delta. Rock and roll was born there, emerging straight out of the blues. Rhythm and blues and jazz are also derived from the blues, and gospel and country have strong roots in the Delta. Again, the Mississippi Delta blues is the origin of all American music. All right, the Mississippi Delta blues is the origin of all American music. So let's walk through music for a second. All right, the Buffalo Soldiers. Again, the topic of tonight's class is the culture that made America. Let's talk about this Southern cowboy culture. Let's talk about this Southern Black and Indigenous cowboy culture. Now, what's up with the Buffalo Soldiers? All right, impressed by Black soldier service in the Union Army in the Civil War, we're talking about the United States Colored Troops. Congress created 6 all-Black cavalry and infantry regiments in 1866. Later consolidated into 4 regiments, the 9th and 10th Cavalry and the 24th and 25th Infantry Buffalo Soldiers. Black troops served mostly on the western frontier, building the infrastructure. All right, building the infrastructure on the West. All right, we won the West. All right, the white man didn't win the West. All right, we won the West. We won the West. It says right here, Black troops served mostly on the western frontier, building the infrastructure. All right, we built the roads. We built the parks. We were the first park rangers. We delivered the mail. We built the buildings, the roads, the bridges. All right, we won the West. Again, we built the infrastructure. We built the buildings, the bridges, the roads, delivered the mail, built the national parks. You dig what I'm saying? We built the infrastructure of the West and took our culture with us. All right, let's walk. All right, since 1873, Seminole Indians served as Buffalo Soldiers and Scouts. So right along with the U.S. colored troops that won the Civil War, we talked about that last week. Right alongside the U.S. colored troops that won the Civil War and became Buffalo Soldiers. All right, you had the Seminole Scouts, the Texas Seminole Scouts that rolled with the Buffalo Soldiers. All right, this country western culture, this country western style, the dress, the music, you dig what I'm saying? We took that West. We took that West along with building the infrastructure of the West. We took our culture with us. All right, 1907, the detachment of Buffalo Soldiers from the 9th and 10th Cavalry was assigned to West Point to teach and drill white cadets. All right, to teach and drill white cadets. All right, even down to the military, like we talked about last week with the wars that won America. All right, all of this is Black and Indigenous culture. All right, 1907, detachment of Buffalo Soldiers. 9th and 10th Cavalry was assigned to West Point to teach and drill white cadets. All right. Skilled horsemen of Mexico, the vaquero, laid the foundation for the Texas cowboy fashion. Denim jeans were originally designed as sturdy work wear for cowboys. All right, denim. All right, the denim I'm wearing now is Black and Indigenous culture. All right, the denim we all wear is Black and Indigenous culture. All right, fringes on jackets, vests, chaps, serving both functional and aesthetic purposes. All right, fringes. Fringes is Black and Indigenous culture. All right, American Indian influences introduce intricate patterns, often seen on shirts, belts, and hat bands. We're talking about American Indian patterns on clothing, like you see on the brother shirt. All right, these American Indian patterns like you see on the brother shirt. All right, the cowboy hat. Let's walk with this cowboy hat for a minute. Like I said, we took our culture west. Like I said, the Buffalo Soldiers and the Seminole Scouts that rode with them, the Texas Scouts that rode with them, all right, took this culture west. Not only did we build the infrastructure, but we took the culture. All right, the cowboy hat evolved in the 1800s, influenced by the sombrero. All right, influenced by the sombrero. The cowboy hat is not white culture. The cowboy hat has never been white culture. The cowboy hat derives from the sombrero. All right, the cowboy hat is Black and indigenous culture. Black, Hispanic, and North American Indian culture. All right, we can see the North American Indian. You got the feather in the cowboy hat. Right, you see the cowboys here. Bandana around the neck. Looks like they're wearing armbands. Looks like they're wearing armbands like we wear in the UPK. All right, more Black and indigenous people. Cowboy hat. And today. All right, the cowboy hat has never been white culture. The cowboy hat has always been Black, Hispanic, and North American Indian culture. All right, how the Mexican cowboy inspired the American cowboy. All right, hundreds of years before there was an American cowboy, there was the vaquero. All right, the Mexican cowboy. Hundreds of years before the American cowboy. Expert horseman who could adeptly herd cattle and whose skill with the lasso were legendary. Classic Westerns have cemented the image of cowboys as white Americans, but the first wave of horse riding cow wranglers in North America were indigenous Mexican men. All right, this cowboy culture, this country culture, this country Western culture is Black and indigenous culture. We were country before country was cool. We were country before, long before country was ever made popular. Long before you started seeing rappers wearing cowboy hats and boots, we were country long before country was cool. All right, the indigenous roots of the cowboy. All right, the first recorded participation in organized cattle ranching by the Seminoles in 1740. Again, this is important because these Seminole Indians, these Seminole Scouts in Texas, rolled with the Buffalo Soldiers. Here's your Seminole Cowboys. And here's the Texas Scouts I was talking about. All right, these Texas Scouts originally come out of Florida. All right, moved into Indian Territory during the Indian Removal Act, Trail of Tears. All right, these Seminoles and these Creeks in 1849 left Oklahoma Territory, left Indian Territory, went down into Mexico, came back into Texas after 1865, and rolled with the Buffalo Soldiers. And again, this is the culture that won the West. Like I said, we built the infrastructure, the roads, the buildings, the bridges, the national parks, delivered the mail, built the railroads, and took our culture with us. All right, rodeos gained popularity in the late 19th century, became venues for cowboys to showcase their skills and style. But you can't mention rodeo without mentioning Bill Pickett. Without mentioning Bill Pickett, we're talking about the real Cherokee Bill. All right, not the one from the movie The Harder They Fall, but the real Cherokee Bill. You can't talk rodeos, you can't talk cowboy culture without first talking about Bill Pickett. All right, source Cowboys and Indians magazine. You got to put them together because the Cowboys was the Indians and the Indians was the Cowboys. Here's Bill Pickett on the right. Again, the real Cherokee Bill. 1989, he was inducted into the Rodeo Hall of Fame. All right, here's your all-black rodeo here. Bill Pickett Invitational. All right, concert promoter Lou Basson founded the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo 1984. The term rodeo celebrates black cowboys. And again, you can't talk rodeo without talking about Bill Pickett, the real Cherokee Bill. All right, sports. You know we had to take it here. Because again, we have people like Donald Trump. We have these modern Republicans. All right. Talking about getting rid of DEI. Like I said earlier, if we're going to get rid of DEI, let's get rid of white people from country music. Let's get rid of white people from rock and roll. All right. Let's get rid of white folks out of sports. Again, you know we had to take it here. Indigenous people have played football for centuries. The Carlisle Indians shaped modern American football. They invented the forward pass, the spiral throw, and the handoff fake. All right, all indigenous culture. And you can't talk football without talking about one of the greats. All right, underestimated coming out of Mississippi. All right, Mississippi Valley State. All right, Rice blew every doubt for his career out the water. Adding 3 Super Bowl championships to the mix was just salt on the wound. And according to the Bleacher Report, Jerry Rice is the greatest player of all time. All right, I didn't say it. All right, don't shoot the messenger. This is according to the Bleacher Report. Jerry Rice is the greatest player of all time. And football is America's favorite sport. All right, football is America's favorite sport, American football. And the majority of NFL players are black. Again, talking about the culture that made America. The majority of football players are black, and football is America's favorite sport. All right, records from the 17th century show the Powhatan Indians played a game similar to modern soccer. All right, again, the culture that made America. 17th century records show the Powhatan Indians played a game similar to modern soccer. And soccer is the most popular sport in the world. All right, so not only the culture that made America, but the culture that influences the world today. All right, soccer is the most popular sport in the world. All right, America's pastime. Baseball has long been known as America's pastime and has had an outsized impact on American culture. Again, the topic of tonight's class is the culture that made America. All right, Willie Mays. Widely regarded as one of the greatest players of all time, Willie Mays began his career in the Negro Leagues, playing for the Birmingham Black Barons, and spent the rest of his career in the National League playing for the Giants and the Mets. Former Negro League players who joined the MLB got on base more frequently than their white counterparts. They hit for more power too with the higher slugging percentage than their white counterparts. All right, these Negro League players were better ball players than their white counterparts in Major League Baseball. All right, the same dominance of former Negro League players held true for pitching in the integrated MLB. They won more games than the average major leaguer, gave up fewer runs, and struck out more players per 9 innings. All right. So we talked about the music. We talked about the West. We talked about fashion. We talked about military. We talked about the name America itself. And now we're getting into sports. We are the culture that makes America. All right. Without blacks and indigenous people, America would be like Bosnia. You ain't never heard nobody in your life talking about they finna go vacation in Bosnia. Without blacks and indigenous people, America would be like Bosnia. All right, we are the culture that makes this place. All right, some Negro League stars never got to play in an integrated Major League Baseball. Catcher Josh Gibson was one of them. He died before Robinson ever took the field in 1947. Gibson is now credited with being the all-time baseball leader in batting average. All right, Josh Gibson from the Negro Leagues that never played in the integrated Major League Baseball has the highest batting average of all time. Gibson also leads in on-base plus slugging, which combines getting on base and hitting power. All right, Josh Gibson has been credited with having the all-time batting average. All right, a black player from the Negro Leagues, Josh Gibson, has the highest batting average of all time. And what would you have without the halftime show? What would sports be without the halftime show? And in the South, sometimes the halftime show is just as big as the game. All right, Indian marching bands were performing in the mid-1800s for parades, fairs, exhibitions, attracting both native and non-native audiences. The tradition of brass band music exists in Indian country. The phrase Native American music may not suggest tubas and trumpets, but march music has been part of American Indian culture for over a century. All right, marching band music has been part of American Indian culture for over a century. And again, in the South, sometimes the halftime show is just as big as the game. Here's TSU marching band. See the cowboy hats and the fringes? All right, we're going to end it with food. My favorite part. And I say this all the time. If you don't have a food culture, you don't have a culture. All right. In order to have a food culture, you have to sit down somewhere long enough to put it together. You have to know when to farm, when to harvest. You have to know the seasons, the rainy season, the dry season, winter, spring, summer, fall. You have to understand how the moon works. You understand? You have to have an understanding of the times. Otherwise, none of this thing works. And you can never sit down long enough to build a culture, to build something permanent. Without farming, without the understanding of farming, you would have a hunter-gatherer culture. You live in tents. But with the knowledge of farming, you can have a permanent culture, a permanent civilization, which is why I say food. If you don't got a food culture, you don't got a culture. All right, the most important indigenous American crops include Indian corn, hominy, beans, sunflower, rice, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, peanuts, avocados, papayas, potatoes, and chocolate. All right, I want to point out these tomatoes right here. All right, this is an indigenous food for those that think spaghetti is Italian. They can't fry fish and make spaghetti like we make it. They cannot fry fish and make spaghetti like we make it. They can't put it together how we do it. Why? Because tomatoes come from America. All right, Indian boiled cornbread is present in Southern cuisine as cornmeal dumplings and hush puppies. Southern cooks cook their beans and field peas by boiling them, as did native tribes. And like the Native Americans, Southerners cured their meats and smoked it over hickory coals. All right, that hickory wood is traditional in American barbecue. All right, the most popular wood to grill meat over is hickory wood. All of that is indigenous culture. All right. You can't have cornmeal dumplings. You can't have hush puppies, beans, and field peas without indigenous food. All right, all of this is indigenous food. All right, and cornbread used to be called Indian bread. All right, cornbread used to be called Indian bread. All right, barbecue, the black and indigenous roots of an American tradition. All right, barbecue comes out of the culture of Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians. All right, 1514, DeSoto attended a feast with the Chickasaw tribe in present-day Mississippi, where a pig was being roasted on a barbecue. 1514, DeSoto attended a feast with the Chickasaw in Mississippi. We've been talking about Mississippi all night, where a pig was roasted on a barbecue. All right, gumbo. Indigenous people don't often receive that level of credit, though in the complicated origin of the story of gumbo, for years, historians and cookbook authors promoted a story that gumbo started simmering on stovetops after an incident known as the Frying Pan Revolt. The legend goes in 1722, a group of French housewives, fed up with the colony's bland or unfamiliar ingredients, banged on pots and pans. All right. It says the women were taught from Choctaw people about cooking with local ingredients. All right. Gumbo was made with local ingredients. All right. The onion, the bell pepper, all of that comes from indigenous cooking. All right. All of that comes from indigenous cooking. All right. To a far greater degree than anyone realizes, several of the most important food dishes that Native Americans of the South live on today is the soul food eaten by Black and white Southerners. All right. To a far greater degree than anyone realizes, several of the most important food dishes that Native Americans of the South live on today is the soul food eaten by Black and white Southerners. For example, the hominy, the grits, the cornbread, and Indian fritters known as hoe cake or hot water cornbread. All right, all of that is indigenous food. All of these foods are indigenous to the Americas. Again, the hominy, the grits, the cornbread, all right, the hoe cake, the hot water cornbread, all of that is indigenous food. All right, source Modern Farmer. It happened on an exploratory day in the Chickasaw Nation in a far-flung corner of Oklahoma when I cracked open a self-published cookbook and was shocked by the familiarity of the recipes within. The grits, the cornbread, the sweet potato pie, the chicken and dumplings in the cookbook looked like a replica of my mother-in-law's recipes in South Alabama. Why? Because all of this is indigenous to the Americas. The grits, the corn, the sweet potatoes, all right, all of this is indigenous to the Americas. All right, 1880s, Hispanic women called the chili queens sold chili from outdoor stands in downtown San Antonio. All right, chili. Chili is indigenous food. All right, invented by Hispanic women in San Antonio in the 1880s. All right, here's your chili queens. All right, Tex-Mex is the most popular cuisine in the United States. All right, Tex-Mex has overtaken Italian as America's go-to food. Well, we just found out that tomatoes are indigenous to the Americas, so we can't give Italians credit for anything tomato-based. Anything tomato-based in the lasagna, the spaghetti sauce, all right, all of that belongs to us. All of that belongs to us. Like I said, they don't put fried fish and spaghetti together like we do it. They don't bake spaghetti in the oven how we do it. They can't do what we do. But Tex-Mex is the most popular cuisine in the United States. The chips and queso. the chili, the beans. All right, all of this is cowboy culture. The fajitas. All right, those steaming plates of fajitas that come fresh off the grill. All right, all of this is Black and indigenous culture. And this car culture that we're known for in the South and on the West Coast. All right, these are Japanese people here, in case you couldn't tell. All right, this car culture, this Chicano culture out west, this indigenous culture out west, is all over the world today. Again, these are Japanese people. These are Japanese people, all right, cosplaying as Hispanic Americans. All right, cosplaying as Hispanic Americans. All right, family and community, Japanese passion for lowrider culture. All right, not only are we the culture that made America, all right, our culture is celebrated all over the world today. Our culture is celebrated all over the world today. Black, Hispanic, and indigenous culture is celebrated all over the world today. We have not only the most popular music in America, we have the most popular music in the world. Not only are we the culture that made America, we're the culture that's looked up to across the planet today. In our foods, we still feed 70% of the world today. The foods that come out of the Americas, the corn, the rice, the sweet potatoes, the potatoes, tomatoes, chocolate, papayas, pineapples, we still feed 70% of the world today with our food culture. And we just read that Tex-Mex is the most popular food in America today. But let's drop that and let's go into the Bible. All right, Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. All right, the Lord said he chose us, Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians, to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. We just broke down how the culture of Blacks and indigenous people are not only the culture of America, but also influence everybody else on the planet today. All right, the whole world looks up to the culture of Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians. We just read that Japanese people all the way in Japan are copying Chicano culture, are copying the car culture of our Mexican American brothers out west on the West Coast. Then we read earlier that we took the West, that Blacks and Hispanics and indigenous people took the West. We won the West. We were the culture of the West. We built the roads. We built the infrastructure. We delivered the mail. We built the buildings. We built the bridges. We built the national parks. The culture that we took with us when we took the West, that culture is copied all the way in Japan today. So with that, let's go ahead and drop that. Appreciate y'all tuning in. All right, Monday history class, ISUPK, Kentucky. And again, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., Officer of 1,000, I'm a Wonga Bar, teaches an amazing brotherhood class. All right, be sure to tune in every Tuesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And of course, the podcast, Wednesday night, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., Cry Out, Spirit Not podcast hosted by Officers of 1,000. I'm a Wanga Boy and ISUPK. With that, we'll go ahead and end it with one courtesy salute. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatham. Yahweh Shemaratham. Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Pay your Passover fee. $200. Covers all the events. All right. ISUPK will be getting it on in Atlanta, Georgia. All right. 9th through the 13th. Again, Shalom. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatham. Yahweh Shemaratham. Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Class dismissed.
Don't let your strongest muscle be in your goddamn them Twitter fingers, nigga. Boss that nigga, man. Get your shit together, man. I'm overrated. It's overrated. Overrated. It's overrated, nigga. Coming on this bitch real fresh, bulletproof, high shoe, bitch, you better wear your vest. She try to get something off her chest, but the drip on her head made a mess. I'm a real piece of profit on this one, but nighttime sheet, I'm a beast. I'm like, here, eat it up, baby, eat. Here, eat it up, baby, eat. I walk with my pole like a pimp in the state that I got up a ton. I walk around with a lot of blaze, babe, blaze, I lit a rip on them, yeah. Tonight it's a ride, I got a show, live show, and the nigga still indie. Yeah. Them UPK niggas winning, UPK niggas gifted. Hey. I had a little money, but I lost a little money for that punk ass job. Now I'm getting paid off passion, so it's only right that I stunt. All the niggas wanna hate, frustrates on the face, boy, love wasting time. I don't hate being around broke minds, I motivate their ass and they grind. And that's a real ass leader, real ass nigga, 2G short in the flesh. And I'ma eat my plate so good, I'ma let a little bit while the dish. And I'ma beat down your block so rich, top off, you'll feel every leg. I went to another bitch house, cause that bitch ain't clean up the kitchen. And I ain't saying no names, give a goddamn shit, let that motherfucker learn. I left my phone unlocked, woke up, bitch, had a damn chalkboard in front. Wanna know who is this, who the fuck is that, bitch, I ain't telling no business. And I bought another motherfucking chopper, and that big game with some haters, but hey, I'm overrated, pass overrated. I'm overrated, pass overrated, nigga. I'm overrated, pass overrated. I'm overrated, pass overrated, nigga. I pass overrated, my money coming steady, I'ma rock out my good talk. Hey, the women looking good, got them white cross, I was trying to see who got good talk. South Carolina, where them 5 thick women, they better know how to cook up. Hey, never take the bitch from scratch, that'll keep a nigga, yeah, on stop. I be in Atlanta with the hitters, zone 6 rockin' with a nigga. Had a nigga walk up to a G, but couldn't get past my security. Yeah, Hawk that's my dog already, and the priest too official. Niggas in the world traumatized, tryna buy a trip off a nigga. But we gon' keep the shows coming, keep these hoes running hill for a change, he'll fly. But I gotta keep my fly slide on me, cause these nat bitches lying. I'm in North Carolina, doing real big shit, I been got new ties. If you ain't round broke, boy, you tired. But me and my niggas, yeah, pass overrated, pass overrated, overrated, pass overrated, nigga, pass overrated, pass overrated, overrated, pass overrated, nigga. That's the pass overrated, man, mixtape, EP, whatever you wanna call it. I'm feeding y'all more, y'all run this shit up, man. Do this shit for the Lord, man. Pass overrated, man. South Carolina, man.
Hey, I don't give a lovely fuck about what them bitches gotta say. I'm a woman where's a nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a lovely fuck about what them niggas gotta to say. I'ma one West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sisters, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm reeling them in, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the pistol. I get the order, be glad at this mission. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga. Training, go through the baddest conditions. I don't fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like Batman, nigga. She know I'm a prophet, she glad to be listening. Disrespect, I ain't having that shit. Tell her go make some business from scratch. She bitchin' a different breed of black men. We don't do the back bend. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling dope to black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like, don't forget about my face. We standing up straight, can't fold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we soldier. You can take that to the bank, we focus on how many times must we remind you. One body, one breath, some break off and never take off as a flex. When the law with you ain't no up next, it's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that. The Lord called a nigga out the world, I responded and called back. Oh Lord, and everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit, we want all that. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the command and general, your hunter, we unaffiliated with them. Like with they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. That's why we unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake niggas. We taking ground, we in your city. You better have the women, have the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't but the same. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in here with me. We in the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Black and Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We ain't just talking shit, but we living in it. We be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be precious hell, take a picture. And we professional now with the scriptures. Play, we gon' scratch them, yeah, we some killers. These niggas trippin', they mind blown. Swear business, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't get it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The only slide that I know about is when I assemble the Glock with the slide on. Real, I get the order, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet up by me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got nines, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like, bitch, or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like. My nigga like, them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the command and general, your hunter, we unaffiliated with them. Like with they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine, that's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. Understand me, like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Hey, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah.